These are the RB48 walkie-talkies. The brand sent these over for me to try, and as you can see from the beginning of the video, I took these things out on a hike and put them through their paces. So these walkie-talkies are advertised as being extremely durable. They've gone through the 810H testing process for shock proofing, vibration proofing, waterproofing, those sorts of things. And I wanted to take it out and see just how good are they? Are they actually those things? And so I'll show you the results of kind of those tests at the end of this video. But first, let's talk about the features of the walkie-talkie. So this is the 2 walkie-talkie set. It comes with the charging base and a USB charger. You can see the charger has 2 USB-C cables, and that's because the walkie-talkies themselves do actually have a USB-C port on them. Here on the side, it's covered by this nice little silicone cover. And so each walkie-talkie has a USB port. That's why the charger has 2 cables, so you can charge them both at the same time through the cables, or you can see the metal pins in here and the connectors. You can just put them right in the base and plug one USB-C cable into the base, and they'll charge through the base that way, which is just fantastic. Let's talk about the walkie itself. So you can hear it turn on and say 1. That's because I'm on channel 1. If you press the menu button, it'll blink and you can cycle through the different channels. There's a bunch of different ones, 1 through 22, which is just fantastic. There's a bunch of other options that you can get to with the menu button as well. There's vibration settings so that the first call vibrates. There's also Vox, so it'll detect when you're talking so you don't have to push to talk if you want to go that route. So there's a bunch of different settings. I won't go through all of them because they're listed in the manual. And then the push to talk is here on the side right here. Or on the front, which I actually like that there's 2 options for that because sometimes I want to do this, sometimes I want to do that, just depending on what I'm doing. So I really like that. It also has a call feature where it'll loudly, beep the other walkie-talkies, which is great. And then it has an SOS where it kind of has an alarm. And then the other thing that this has that I really like is it has the NOAA weather channel. So if you press and hold the call button, it'll turn on the NOAA. So yeah, it does do the NOAA weather station, which is just fantastic, and you can scroll through the channels on that until you find one that's a little bit clearer. And then the talk on this is fantastic. I actually feel like I've used a few different walkie-talkies, and I feel like the clarity on these is absolutely fantastic. So, hello, hello, check, 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 check. I feel like they sound really, really good, and it's super easy to understand what the other person is saying when they talk to you. Sometimes I feel like with walkie-talkies, the sound comes through kind of muffled, or you can't really understand what people are saying. Not so with these. I feel like they're really, really clear, which I really appreciated. So let's talk about durability. I took these out on a hike with a buddy of mine, and we decided to see what we could do. So the first thing we did is we climbed up on a rock that was about 2 meters off the ground, and we just dropped it onto another rock that was down below. All right, so I'm up on a rock about 2 meters off the ground, and there's another rock down here. I'm just going to give this a drop and let it land on that rock, see if it works. You copy?
Roger, I got you.
And this thing just kind of bounced off that rock, and I picked it up, and it was still on, still having good signal, and was able to still communicate and talk through the walkies, which was just fantastic. My buddy and I took it and did kind of a line of sight test where I was up on a ridge, and he hiked down, and we were able to still talk even without line of sight, which is just fantastic. Do you copy over?
Roger, I have a good copy.
I also took this thing and threw it in the river just to see. It claims it's waterproof, so I was like, let's try it out. Took it to the river, threw it in the river, left it in there. Do you copy?
Roger, I got you.
And we're gonna go ahead and leave it a little bit longer. Let's try talking into it while it's in the water.
Check.
Yeah, I can hear that. We actually called it and talked through it while it was floating in the water, and I pulled it out and was able to talk to my buddy through it, no problem at all. It probably sat in the water for maybe 30 seconds and just kind of floated, which was really nice too, that it floats. I really appreciate that as well. The last thing I did is at the end of the hike, I wanted to see how they would do with like a vibration or like just kind of a bouncing around test, if you will. So at the end of the hike, I just threw them in the back of my truck in the truck bed and just left them there and drove home with them in the back of the truck bed. And as you can see, I pulled them out and they're still kicking. So I feel like these things did really well, at least with my limited, durability testing and waterproof testing and all of that. So I'm really, really happy with that. I feel like knowing that I can take this walkie-talkie out, and if I accidentally drop it in a puddle or something, I can grab it real quick, and I feel like it'll still work and still do its job. And I feel like that's just fantastic. Or maybe I drop it, and I don't want to worry about it breaking. I think it's going to hold up really, really nice. So I'm really, really happy with these. I think these are fantastic walkie-talkies. I want to say thank you so much to the brand for sending these to me to try. I'm a really big fan, and I would highly recommend them.